This guy has spoken to 10,000 high schoolers, all right? He knows our next generation. We're talking about Generation Y and Generation Z, okay? He's out and about. Now, he also is a corporate guy. He works in organizational development with Securities America, which is a very large insurance firm, or they service the insurance industry. But his passion is going out there and connecting at a deep level with our youth. I say that in the broadest possible terms. So he understands, talk about optimism, talk about the future. This guy knows where our society is going. He's got his finger on the zeitgeist of our society. Please welcome our new friend, Mr. Terry Lee, everybody right here. Terry Lee! There you are.
How you doing?
I was getting kind of long-winded there. I apologize for that.
Oh, that's
all right. I
right.
got carried away when I was thinking about you, man. You inspire me.
That's okay.
And I've never even heard you speak to those guys, but somehow I believe it. I don't know. Now listen, I know you're doing a lot of interesting things in your career, but it's got to be exciting to have the opportunity to be invited again and again to stand up in front of all these youth. And they're sitting there, and some of them are expectant, and some of them are cynical. Who's this guy? All that, right? You've been through all that.
Yeah.
What's going on in their head and their hearts? Are they scared? Are they worried? Are they apprehensive? What do they want to hear from you?
Well, Lynn, I think the biggest challenge with youth today is actually the day. There is so much information that's coming at them.
Yeah, they're swamped.
They're swamped with information. They're constantly like this. They're on the phone. They've got different messages coming at them.
Yeah.
How do you decipher and how do you navigate throughout the day? How do I determine?
You're just bouncing off of stuff.
How do I determine my self-identity?
Right. So, is there any way with a person who's that young to help them, navigate their way through that and get some clear sense of who they are and what their purpose on the planet is, or is that just impossible?
I don't think it's impossible. I think the thing is to getting them to a point where they can pause. There's so much 100 miles an hour stuff coming at them. Get to a point in the day where you can pause, set some goals, figure out who am I,
right,
and then figure out who you are, what gifts have God given me, and then move from there.
That's right. It's so much fun when you actually can get somebody in that reflective mood. I don't care if they're 18 or 28 or 38, but it's a joy when they say, okay, I'm going to move everything off the table, I'm going to clear my brain, and I'm going to answer from my heart a few really meaningful questions, which is, why are you on this planet? And if you don't really know that, and many people don't, then it becomes about, what have you done in your life where you had a feeling that this is what I was meant to do, or, I'm good at this, and what could that mean? Do you understand that feeling?
I do. I think if you can sit down, earlier we talked about ego.
Yeah.
I like what Ken Blanchard says about ego. Ego is edging God out, where what you really want to do is you want to sit down and see what tools that have been placed on your heart.
Yes.
And what are those tools that are going to lead you toward your purpose?
Right.
You're given a platform, and then once you use that platform, you use that tool to deliver your purpose.
Yeah. And then you feel like you're on your way.
Yeah.
But earlier, prior to that, there's a lot of thrashing around, trying to figure out, well, I like this, but I wasn't good at that, and I got fired at that, and I screwed up here, and you're trying to assemble some sense of what your strengths and weaknesses are, what your profile is, and go forward. Now, have you ever given a presentation to these people and then afterwards said, wow, I really hit it out of the ballpark on this because I said this one thing that everybody seemed to resonate and it rippled through the crowd and they really got it? What have been some of the more meaningful things that you've shared with people?
It's funny you said, because probably the most meaningful presentation was probably a halftime speech when I coach youth football.
Yeah.
And we're getting spanked.
I would love to hear a halftime speech from you, Terry. I'd like to be down. I'd like to be the guy that's behind. I mean, are you like a Vince Lombardi type, or how do you do your thing, man?
Well, I think you learn your best from getting your butt kicked.
Yeah.
Getting people to understand it's okay. We're failing right now.
Yeah.
Why are we failing? Football, you get halftime. You get a pause.
Yeah.
Let's look at why we're failing.
Yeah.
Are you doing your job? Are you doing your
So you get reflective with
it? Get
them.
reflective, yes.
Look inside. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. And do they respond to that?
They respond. You don't. Sometimes you go out there and continue to get your butt kicked.
Yeah.
So then you do some more reflecting afterwards.
And you go afterwards. You say, "What did I do?" Right?
But the biggest learning is after. If you look at, okay, where we failed at? How do we fix that?
Yes.
So just getting time to sit down and have that conversation. Because a lot of talk is with audiences, but when you get those one-on-ones and say, tell me what your struggles are.
Yeah, is there a greater sense of potential? Then we can really go somewhere when we're doing one-on-one?
Yes.
So what about you, man? Now you've done some very meaningful things. You're making a difference everywhere. What are you struggling with at this phase in your life? You've got a long ways to go. What's the thing that is coming up inside of you that you've got to deal with? Is it impatience? You feel like you need to do more, or you feel like you need to improve yourself in certain ways? What do you think?
But probably my biggest challenge is impact. Am I having an impact on my community? What impact am I having? I don't want to wake up one day and realize I haven't done anything. So I'm always looking for opportunities to try to give back to the community.
Do you feel a mild restlessness about it? Like, I'm not sure I'm really doing enough right now, or I'm not high impact enough? Does that occur to you?
Sometimes, and it's funny, my wife will say, your plate's pretty full right now.
Yeah.
You probably don't need to take on something else. And then usually I'll come home and say, honey, I'm going to this opt-in event.
So you're going to stay home and take care of these kids. What are you doing? Yeah. So, but then you say, well, I'm going to be on YouTube and this is going to be on forever, and I'm going to really make a difference now, see?
Somebody's going to hear it. Somebody's going to hear a message and move forward.
Yeah. As we kind of wrap up here, Terry, you're a fascinating guy. What's the future all about? I'm going to go big picture here for a second. We're talking to these 17, 18-year-olds. By the time they're 28, 38, 48, what would you be telling them now that will last 20, 30, 40 years, that will help them remain optimistic about, we got climate change issues, we've got international terrorism. 44% of all young people now think that somehow international terrorism is going to affect them at a personal level. So that's a very interesting level of anxiety, So what can you tell those people that you think will sustain and give them some kind of a grounding and some centered sense of that progress and optimism are possible?
I think the future is bright with our young folks, because there is so much information coming at them. They've got so much opportunity to take this information, decipher it, and use the good information to build the future. I believe in talking to kids about potential, possibilities, and progress, and that's a cycle.
I like that.
The more information you have,
I may steal that, actually.
The more information you have, the more potential you have. When you realize that potential, the more possibilities you have. The more possibilities you realize you have, the greater progress. And then you look back, you learn, unlearn, and relearn, and then you keep moving forward. And with that kind of information coming
Say that last part again now. I think we're going to wrap up by listening to those three words again. Learn, unlearn,
and relearn.
And relearn. I think that's going to take me through the rest of my life, Mr. Terry Lee. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you coming up, sharing your insights. Mr. Terry Lee, everybody.
Thank you.
Beautiful job. Thank you so much. Awesome job, Mr. Terry Lee, organizational developer at Securities America.